Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. This is the beginner's guide to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. So in this video, we'll be covering just a lot of the basics of what makes this game work. Now, if you come from, say, a Smash Brothers background, a lot of this, well, you're probably going to know a lot of this out of the gate, right? A lot of this is going to make sense. But not everything is quite the same as Smash Brothers, just FYI. So with that all said here, there will be timestamps on everything, so skip to whatever feels applicable to you, and let's start with the absolute basics. So first things first, this is indeed a platform fighter, and the ultimate goal of any platform fighter is to knock the enemy over the platform, and when you do, well, that's about game, right? So how do we get there? Well, by attacking the enemy. We have our percentage meters here at the bottom, and the percentage in and of itself doesn't kill the enemy, but the more you hit them, you know, by punching, kicking, blowing bubbles at them with SpongeBob, whatever you got, right? The further and further and further they'll fly out. So something basic like this here, well, it'll knock them down a bit when their percentage is pretty low, but the higher and higher that percentage gets, the more and more they're going to go flying. And eventually, at some point here, they're not going to be able to recover in time, and, well, you wrung them out, and that's how we win. As far as the basics of the game go, movement and attack-wise, you can jump, you can indeed double jump, you can short hop, just a tap of the jump will have you just go a little bit high versus the full jump, so tap for a hop, hold the button for a full-on jump. As far as our attack buttons go, we have light attacks, we have strong attacks, and we have specials. And all light, strong, and specials have 3 versions. So like a light, you have the basic version, we'll call this the neutral version. We have the version where we hold down, and we have the version where we hold up. And that'll change it, so the button is basically 3 different moves. Same here with the strong, basic strong, the neutral strong, down strong, and we have up strong, and our base special. So neutral special, down special, and up special is pretty much for everyone their recovery move. So now let's talk some of the basics of movement. So first off here, as you walk around, you will eventually and very quickly turn into a run, and any given run has unique attacks as well. Your light and your strong specifically here, while you're running, those are unique and different attacks versus the base light and strong for standing. And one of the bigger things about this game is pretty unique compared to some other platform fighters is there's a dedicated strafe button. So normally, when you go back and forth, you obviously enough go back and forth. In this game, however, if you hold the strafe button, you will always stay the same direction no matter what. So I can go in any direction I please. As long as I am holding the strafe button, I will always face that way I originally was when I hit the button. Same, if I turn the direction here, I will always just face that direction. Now, in certain platform fighters, there's certain characters that just always kind of auto-face the enemy, and this is a way to do it. If you just want to lock in that direction, you hold this button and you'll always be facing that direction no matter what. One of the more interesting consequences of something like this is, say you want to run away and throw a projectile, right? So basically, on the normal way you'd want to do this, you would run whatever direction, hit the other direction, make sure you toss it correctly, because otherwise, you would just blow the projectile in the wrong direction. So you would just stop dead and throw that projectile. However, if you are strafing, when you do it, you'll keep a little bit of that momentum from your run. So if you're looking to, say in this scenario, just run away and throw projectiles, it is actually basically a better way to do it. So basically, it's just a good quality of life feature, I guess you could say, right? So if you're looking for situations where, your momentum will stop dead because you have to turn around and face the other way, strafing lets you keep that momentum versus you would not have it otherwise. Be it here, like in this jump scenario where I still get to keep moving backwards versus like if I were to automatically turn a face, I might lose some of my momentum. It's just a very handy thing to have overall. As far as movement goes, we also have air dashes. That is done by hitting a direction in the air and the block button. Now, the thing with air dashes is, one, unlike some other platform fighters, they're no way invincible. So you will get hit if you are stuck in the middle of the air dash, just FYI. And also, there is 8-way air dash, so you can go all 8 directions however you choose. So it's good for mobility, so you can jump, double jump, air dash, and like up recovery. Lots of mobility to work with, to be sure. And yes, speaking of dashing, yes, there is indeed wave dashing. So you can do it the hard manual way of like jump, diagonal, dash downwards, then jump, diagonal, dash downwards, and try to do it as quick as you can. But thankfully in this game, you don't got to worry about that. In fact, all you got to do is hit jump, block, and your direction of choice at the same time, and you will automatically wave dash. So for people looking for the ultimate wave dash experience, don't worry, it's super easy to do in this game. Now if you want to get like tricky with it, you can still do, you know, tricky stuff, but for the most part, why worry about it? Just hit, once again, jump, block, and your direction of choice at the same time, and the game will automatically wave dash for you. Now there is some more advanced stuff when talking about dashes, but we'll talk about that later in the video. So now let's go over the basics of offense. Now, as mentioned before at the start of the video, there is 3 kinds of attacks. There is light attacks, there is strong attacks, and there is special. Now, lights and strongs are roughly the same. They're basic kick, punches, headbutts, all that kind of stuff. The special moves are definitely where things wildly change from character to character. So someone like Reptar, he can give you a fireball. He can give you his big rising stomp here, and he can give you the Shin Godzilla special if he so chooses. Keep in mind, many attacks, although not all, it is character specific, many attacks can be held for different properties. So Reptar, his down breath here, this is down and special. The basic version, as you can see here, alright, covers both sides, that's great. If you were to hold it, it takes a bit longer, and then it becomes a much wider angle. Same say with his basic stand neutral special. That's just a fireball. And you can jump with it, whatever, you can do whatever you want with it. But if you were to hold it, he will rear back and it will become a giant beam instead, hitting all points in between and doing a fair bit more damage as well. So no character to character that whatever you're doing might have a held version and have additional properties / more damage. Like any proper game with 2 people fighting each other, yes, of course, there is grabs. So grabs, you can take people, carry them around, you can jump, all that kind of stuff, and toss them up. You can toss them down or side to side. If you toss them down, you can stay on top of them. If you toss them up, depending on how much damage they have already, you might be able to combo after the fact. And tossing side to side, well, that's like your easy tries for ring outs. Now, when you're holding the enemy is allowed to like mash buttons and try to get out faster. The default time is like almost forever, and you can just like run off the ledge. Don't expect the human being to wait that long. You're not gonna be able to hold them that long. But yeah, it's your primary way to defeat blocking and all that kind of stuff, because blocking's here, and it's a little different than how it works in some other platform fighters, which we'll talk about later on. But yeah, your grab is one of your cornerstones of offense. Now, we mentioned at the start of the video about running attacks, so build up a little head of steam and do either a light or a strong attack, and you will do a running attack. Special attacks, they're just special attacks, they don't have a running version. One of the bigger things to note here is all running attacks are cancelable. So once you hit your running attack, be it whatever it is, you can cancel it into a light, a strong, or a special. And not all running attacks are built equal here. So I could go running strong into a light, that's fine. Another example here, someone like Toph, her running strong actually leaves her airborne. So instead of just canceling into a ground and normal, in this specific case, we can go into any given air, normal or special. So you can like do that and immediately go into a down light, which will spike them down into the ground. And from there, perhaps create a little bit of a combo. So everyone's running attacks are fully unique. Everyone has different properties. So you'll have to mess around character to character, but it's a very interesting and multifaceted part of how the offense works in this game. And now to briefly speak on combos in the game. Like many other platform fighters, the higher the percentage the enemy is, the higher they'll get launched by XYZ, right? So at low percentage, I could do something like this. Very basic example, right? Just a simple 2-hit combo. So I just jump down light, and before they hit the ground, I hit them with a stand light. Simple enough. But if the percentages start getting jacked up, all of a sudden that simple combo wasn't so simple anymore, right? Because they got bounced so high up because their percentage was so high, I can no longer connect with that simple thing. Now that said, sometimes high percentages allows for different kind of combos because the extra high launch is exactly what you're looking for. Keep in mind, your combo potential is definitely limited by what the enemy's percentage is at. At low percentages, certain things are available that aren't available at high percentages, and vice versa. Only certain things are available at higher percentages than lower ones. Now, on to the basics of defense. One of the bigger things about this game here is the block button, which of course naturally exists, right? It is basically effective across the board. No matter how much I want to beat you up here, you're going to stay blocking. So there's no shield mechanic like, say, a Smash Brothers or whatever. You can block as much as you please. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't defend you from throws, obviously enough. But one of the bigger things here is when you block and you're near an edge, this is where blocking is its most deadly. Because every time I hit you, you get pushed back. And once you're pushed back against the edge, eventually, we're going to hit this state here. You see where they're glowing red? That means bad things are going to happen. Once you're glowing red, you cannot defend yourself. The next hit is guaranteed. And well, then you might get buffed off the edge here. So you do get to block a lot longer than another kind of platform fighter, yes. Your defense is for the most part absolute, except against throws. But the thing is, if you block near the edge, you better watch out because that could be the end of the game right there. The state is very much designed to punish you for being near the edge and blocking, right? Because you're donezo if you get blocked on. Because I can do anything I want and you cannot stop it. Now, keep in mind here, the first hit will put you into the state, and the second hit will knock him out. So moves that happen to be multi-hitting, like say Tough Stand Strong Attack here, will just automatically get you. You can't stop it. Now, it doesn't mean you're automatically lost. You still have all your recovery options, all that kind of stuff. But just beware, blocking while you're on the edge is a very deadly proposition. Speaking of blocks, yes, this game has just defense, perfect block, whatever you want to call it. So if you were to block a regular attack, all right, you can see like there's a little hit impact, right? But if you were to block it like basically right at the perfect time, it'll turn yellow instead, meaning you basically have instant recovery and can punish some moves that would otherwise be unpunishable. Now, the ledge game, like many other kind of platform fighters, it's all about getting back to the ledge, right? And in this game, how it works is this. The ledge itself, while you're on the ledge, you can definitely be hit. Nothing about the ledge is necessarily safe for you, right? But the act of getting up from the ledge is indeed invincible. So if you were to just go forward here, you can see the little flash that denotes the invincibility. That is invincible. You can also attack while waking up. That is not invincible. So just hanging and ledging is not to your benefit. You're very vulnerable while doing it. The only part where you can consider yourself safe is the part where you get up. And as for traditional platformer stuff, almost every character's up and special is their recovery attack. So you can like be off screen, jump forward, recovery, get on the ledge. And also you can double jump, then air dash, and then recovery, that kind of stuff. Some characters kind of break a lot of the rules. Like say Toph, for example. Oh no, I'm done for. Nah. I can create my own platforms because I'm Toph, the Earthbender. So I can just safely, you know, think about it for a second. Do I really want to worry about stuff? No, I'm just going to chill for a second, taunt you for a bit. Maybe come join me down here, right? So character to character can definitely change a lot of stuff, so beware of that. When you are knocked down, you get up when you choose. Although you're not safe while you're knocked down, you can hit a direction and you'll just wake up in that direction. Or conversely, you can hit an attack button and you'll do a wake up recovery attack. Also, if you hit this right before you hit the ground, your block button and one of the two directions here, you will just tech in that direction. You have to do it right before you hit the ground. If you do it a little too late, you'll just be flat on the ground. But yeah, so you can just hit block right away and you'll go up in place, or you can hit left and right and tech roll and be invincible in those directions. A note on projectiles in this game. So projectiles, just like any game, you know, you can block them, that's fine. But if you were to hit them with a strong attack specifically, then things start changing up a little bit. because you can actually reflect them universally across the cast with a strong attack. There's also a little bit of a tug-of-war aspect, because the more and more it gets reflected, the faster it gets. So if you want to keep bouncing it back and forth, that's an option. Now, of course, well, you think, well, that kind of ruins them, right? Well, no, because if you know someone's going to try to reflect it, that's when you jump in, and while they're being dumb trying to reflect it, then you crank them in the head, right? So there's always play and counterplay. Now, not all projectiles are created equal in this regard. Something like Toph's Big Boulder, yes, you can reflect it, but it's just way harder to reflect. The timing is completely different than a normal projectile. Like, I don't know if it's like a hitbox, hurtbox thing. You can do it, but your timing has to be a lot better. And not everything can be reflected. Like something like Reptar's Beam. Reptar's Beam, you're just gonna get hit. You can't reflect it. Also, projectiles, on top of being able to be reflected by strong attacks, you can just straight up grab them and like chuck them back at the enemy, and you can grab it back too, right? So you can grab any old projectile out of the air and make it your own. So it definitely adds a dynamic level to projectiles that's not normally present in a lot of platform fighters. But of course, once again, doesn't necessarily make projectiles weak, because it just brings in the option of counterplay. If you're too obsessed of trying to grab a projectile or otherwise reflect it, you might be opening yourself up to other attacks and opportunities that you might not have thought of. Now, a bit more of an advanced technique here, not one the game really goes out of its way to tell you, is you can downwards dash cancel airborne hits. So jumping attacks specifically. So if I do something simple like I'm just going to jump and do my light attack here, right? And then if I hit down or one of the diagonals, then all of a sudden, you see that? I immediately dash canceled downwards. So that can create some very interesting stuff, because it basically lets you hit the ground much faster than the base jump will. So therefore you can get potential combo stuff that you normally otherwise never could. It's definitely something that has a lot of potential for later in the game's life here, but yeah, just take it and just work with it. See what you can get here. Once again, it's just any given jump and then just downwards dash cancel it, and you'll immediately go down to the ground. And on to some miscellaneous stuff. Some moves have alternate inputs. So Patrick is the grappler. He's the Zangief of the game, if you will. His down special is a big old grab, very familiar, like Bowser's grab in Smash, right? And he'll just take you and he'll dunk you something fierce. Now here's the thing about this move. If you do the traditional spinning pile driver motion, so I'm talking a full 360 motion here, and end on down and then hit your special, well, he glows red and okay, yeah. As you can see here, it definitely got a lot more wild really quick, right? So yeah, it just, it's something else. It can turbocharge the move, so I definitely don't know all the alternate inputs right now, but that is definitely one of them. So if you want to take your basic move that just goes like this, and you just want to dunk on the dude from like full screen, and yeah, you'll kill each other, sure, but in this game here, Patrick, if he does kill you with this move, it counts as the enemy dying first. So if you're both on your last stock, Patrick will win, and just go flying. For doing the move, if you don't like doing 360 motion, make sure to hold the strafe button so you don't accidentally, you know, kind of switch which way you're facing, because you don't want to go for the big grab and do it the wrong way, right? But yeah, so beware of alternate inputs, because they're there and they can definitely change things up. Also, I'm just very happy to say this game does have hitbox display in training mode. This is definitely something a lot more games could use. So if you're wondering why this move did this, that, or the other, and want to see how the hitboxes work, well, the game's got your back in that way. So Patrick farting laser, that's a pretty good hitbox, it looks like. So if you just want to see how this all works, see how the meat is made, as it were, just turn on your hitboxes in training mode and it's all there for you, and you can just learn the whole process. And that, my friends, is the basics of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. There's going to be a lot more advanced stuff to come in time, I'm sure, but this should get your feet on the ground and help you understand the game as it stands. And otherwise, my friends, hey, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some All-Star Brawl.